Just when it seemed like Durk's legal battles were winding down, with his attorneys gearing up to file a motion to dismiss, a bombshell has dropped. Over 230 gigabytes of uncut footage and audio recordings have emerged, some implicating Durk in a second murder tied to a larger scheme. This fresh development could drastically change the stakes, potentially turning a life sentence into a death sentence. The situation is so dire that even cooperating with federal authorities might no longer offer him any protection. It feels like no matter what he does, whether he snitches or stays silent, he might be trapped beyond escape. What hidden truths could these newly uncovered materials reveal? Is there a chance this evidence is authentic? And perhaps the most chilling question, could Durk soon be facing the ultimate penalty, the electric chair? Let's dive deeper and unpack what this all could mean. The startling murder accusations out of Chicago have been making waves. For anyone who missed the latest updates, Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, was taken into custody back in October 2024 in Florida, facing serious federal charges tied to an alleged murder-for-hire plot aimed at Quando Rondo. Then, during a detention hearing on December 12, 2024, federal prosecutors dropped a major revelation. They connected Durk to a second, previously uncharged murder-for-hire scheme unfolding in Chicago. The other case centers on the chilling January 27, 2022 shooting of Stephen Mack, a 24-year-old alleged leader of the Smashville faction within the Gangster Disciples. The circumstances of Mack's murder are strikingly brutal. He was targeted outside the Youth Peace Center in Roseland on 111th Street, a place ironically meant to be a refuge in a neighborhood frequently plagued by gun violence. Mack was struck by gunfire in both the head and chest and later pronounced dead at the hospital. Amid the chaos, a 40-year-old security guard also sustained a leg wound but survived the crossfire. Two Chicago men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson, 24, and Preston Powell, 23, were charged in 2023 with conspiracy in connection to Mack's murder, accused of carrying out the shooting over money disputes. But the pressing question remained: who financed the hit? Newly unsealed federal documents reveal prosecutors believe the money trail points straight to Durk. According to authorities, the motive behind the killing was retaliation. Prosecutors allege that Durk orchestrated the hit on Mack as vengeance for the June 2021 murder of his brother, Dante Banks, known as D-Thang. Dante, 32, was fatally shot outside Club O, a strip club in Harvey, Illinois, on the early morning of June 5, 2021. The scene was chaotic, with multiple shooters involved, and a Harvey police officer was wounded in a separate altercation nearby. These revelations come from a warrant application filed in April 2023 that remained sealed until December 11, 2024, just one day before Durk's detention hearing related to the Los Angeles case. The documents accuse Durk of offering payments to individuals willing to avenge his brother's death, explicitly placing bounties on members of the Gangster Disciples. The FBI maintains that the Smashville faction was responsible for killing D-Thang, and Mack was allegedly running a set linked to that same faction. An affidavit from FBI Special Agent Thomas Callahan supports the claim that Durk financed or even ordered Mack's shooting as payback, essentially putting a price on the heads of GD members. What makes these allegations especially compelling is the extensive evidence gathered by the FBI connecting Durk to the suspected shooters, Montgomery Wilson and Powell. This includes text messages suggesting payments for the murder, tips from confidential informants and street-level sources, phone records revealing communications between Durk and the shooters, and strikingly, social media posts such as one asking, "Did Durk give you that money?" Prosecutors interpret this as a clear indication that Durk funded the hit. Adding fuel to the fire, prosecutors point to lyrics from Durk's February 22, 2022 track, "Aha," which seem to allude to Mack's murder. In the song, Durk raps, "My brother Dang just got killed and I've been slow since gang, but we got back on they ass." The authorities view these lines as an implicit admission that Durk sought revenge for his brother's death, possibly through orchestrating Mack's killing. Using rap lyrics as evidence has stirred controversy, especially within the drill music community, where violent imagery often serves as artistic expression rather than literal confessions. This same tactic is employed in Durk's Los Angeles case, raising concerns about how courts interpret creative work. Further intensifying the case, the FBI claims to possess photographs showing Durk with Montgomery Wilson, establishing a tangible link to one of the alleged shooters. However, these images have not been fully disclosed publicly. It is critical to note that, as of April 27, 2025, Durk has not been formally charged in connection with Mac's murder. Investigations remain ongoing, but no indictment has been filed. Media outlets like the Tribune report that authorities are still building their case. The absence of charges suggests that these allegations currently serve more as a tool to undermine Durk's defense in the LA case rather than as grounds for a separate prosecution. Durk's legal team, led by attorney Jonathin, firmly denies any involvement in Mac's murder. During the December 2024 detention hearing, Brayman stated, "That's other people. Our client has nothing to do with that," emphasizing that Durk faces no charges related to the Chicago case. The defense contends prosecutors are using unproven accusations to bias the judge in the Los Angeles case, where Durk faces unrelated charges. Despite no formal charges, the allegations have already impacted Durk's legal status. At the December 12, 2024 detention hearing in Los Angeles, Assistant U.S. Attorney Ian Yanelu argued that Durk's purported role in the Chicago shooting, coupled with claims of bounties on rival gang members, demonstrates a pattern of dangerous conduct. U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donoghue agreed, denying Durk's request for a $3 million bond and keeping him detained while awaiting trial. This use of uncharged conduct in pretrial proceedings has drawn scrutiny from legal experts, questioning whether such evidence should influence judicial decisions. Critics warn that allegations unrelated to the actual charges can prejudice the court's view of a defendant. The ongoing Mac investigation could eventually lead to additional charges, further complicating Durk's already tangled legal troubles. Beyond courtroom drama, the Mac case underscores the grim reality of gang violence in Chicago. The Gangster Disciples, one of the city's largest and most notorious gangs, have long been tied to a wave of shootings throughout the South Side. Internal faction rivalries, like the Smashville Crew, and conflicts with outsiders fuel cycles of retaliation, as reflected in the violent history involving D-Thang and Mac. The fact that Mac was killed outside a youth peace center adds a tragic layer of irony, exposing how deeply violence permeates even places meant to foster safety and community healing. These allegations against Durk also blur the lines between his public persona as a musician and the accusations of gang affiliation, with prosecutors suggesting his label operates as both a music enterprise and an organized criminal group. If proven, the Chicago murder claims could establish a disturbing pattern of retaliation for Durk, starting with Mac's 2022 killing in revenge for his brother's death. This would lend credibility to prosecutors' argument that Durk later targeted Quando Rondo in August 2022 to avenge the killing of King Van, his close friend. That said, it is vital to remember that Durk has not been charged in the Mac case, and as with all defendants, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Much of the prosecution's evidence is circumstantial, relying heavily on informants and social media posts whose credibility remains uncertain. The use of rap lyrics as evidence remains particularly contentious. Critics argue that hip-hop is often fictionalized or exaggerated storytelling, and interpreting lyrics as literal confessions misrepresents the art form. This approach disproportionately affects rap artists, especially those in drill music, where vivid, violent imagery is part of the style rather than proof of actual crimes. At the heart of Durk's legal battles is this tension between artistic expression and criminal accusation. To grasp the full scope of the situation, one must revisit the original murder-for-hire case in Los Angeles and the pivotal motion Durk's defense recently filed, challenging the authenticity of key evidence against him. In the rap world, few figures are as closely linked to Chicago's streets as Lil Durk. Known for blending raw emotion with gritty storytelling, he has become both an artist and a symbol of resilience. But beneath the music lies a complex web of legal entanglements, fueled by rivalries, vendettas, and betrayal. Durk's troubles trace back to 2020, when a public feud erupted between his rap collective, Only the Family, and a rival faction. This rivalry intensified after the murder of Devin Bennett, aka King Von, a close friend and fellow artist under the OTF banner. King Van's death sparked a deep vendetta against Quando Rondo, who was rumored to be connected to the killing. The boss indictment against Durk claims this feud escalated to the point where he allegedly sought to eliminate Rondo by any means necessary, marking a dangerous chapter in the ongoing saga between these interconnected circles. Witnesses and confidential. Sources told investigators that Durk allegedly placed a bounty on Quando Rondo's life, aiming to end the feud by eliminating his rivals. This set off a violent chain of events, culminating in a brutal shooting at a Los Angeles gas station and triggering a federal probe. On August 19, 2022, chaos erupted as 3 masked gunmen fired at a black Cadillac Escalade carrying Quando Rondo and his family near the Beverly Center. While Quando escaped, his cousin, identified in court documents as Sr. Saviay'a Robinson, was fatally hit. Police found 18 shell casings at the scene, highlighting the attack's ferocity. Durk's name surfaced as a key figure when authorities discovered this was no random gang shooting. Connections showed a well-planned operation allegedly led by Durk and his circle. Financial records suggested Durk's group funded the hit, with bank and flight logs revealing key members traveled to California on August 18, 2022, a day before the shooting, using an American Express card linked to Durk and F text messages. Revealed Durk, warning a co-conspirator not to book flights under names tied to SICME, aiming to avoid a paper trail. Surveillance showed 2 white vehicles, a BMW and an Infiniti, tailing Quando's Escalade, later tied to Durk's associates, flown in from Chicago to execute the attack. Following the shooting, federal and local law enforcement increased their scrutiny, leading to arrests of 5 F members from Chicago on October 24, 2024, all charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. As the FBI closed in, Durk attempted to flee, booking flights to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy, destinations complicating extradition efforts. He was caught before boarding. The investigation portrayed F not just as a rap collective, but as a criminal syndicate involved in assaults and murders, with members expected to follow Durk's violent commands to uphold their status. Court documents revealed co-conspirator 3 coordinated logistics, flights, lodging, equipment, with funds traced to Durk. Durk himself was in California before the shooting, staying in a rental house in Anino with key F members. Evidence tightened around Durk as co-conspirator 3 managed travel and rentals on his behalf. Amid mounting evidence, rumors surfaced of a betrayal within F by a trusted affiliate secretly cooperating with federal agents. Loyalty, vital in rap. Circles shattered as someone close to Durk provided inside information, setting the stage for the indictment. Lil Durk's lyrics in songs like Peliode and Risky hinted at such betrayals long before charges surfaced, warning of danger within his own ranks. Rap legend 50 Cent, in a Breakfast Club interview, recalled advising Durk to watch his crew as suspicions grew. Durk mentioned an incident where a stranger entered his home, a sign that his address was no longer secret, a worrying breach of trust. The betrayal seemed to center on Jam, a longtime member recently released from prison, who allegedly flipped and worked with feds, providing evidence tying Durk to the murder plot against Rondo and implicating him in the killing of Lupab. Sources say Jam's bitterness toward Bai. Durk grew after feeling disrespected when Durk ignored his baby mama's request for legal help. WAC 100 described Jam as once loyal, but eventually turning informant, supplying detailed intelligence on F's operations, including coded messages and financial trails. Surveillance linked F's associates to tailing Rondo before the hit, with Jam